Hello, everybody. I'm Eric Lee Lewis, and back with the second episode of the new Indie Luchador podcast that still has no name and never will have a name. And today I am joined by a couple. And when I say a couple, I mean like an actual married couple. And as nerds, we usually don't know what that means. But this is a couple that is extremely well loved, and I know they've rubbed off on me the right way, and apparently they've rubbed off on everybody else the right way. Today I'm joined by Alix and Calvin from RobotLovesKitty.
Ahoy!
Hi.
So the first question I have to ask you guys is, why are you so well loved?
I don't know.
It's all Alex's fault. It's not me.
I bring cookies. That's my thing. No, I don't know.
It's totally Alex's fault. I'm not lovable or likable, but like Alex is friendly to everybody.
Forgive me for saying this, but bullshit.
Calvin, you're nice too.
Nope. I mean, boring person.
He does have his grumpy old man moments. They do happen, but you're helpful when people ask for like help on Unity. You share information. You're an information sharer.
Okay.
So that's considered nice.
At PAX East, I realized that you guys were the most infectiously smiley people in all of the place.
Well, it's easy though at PAX. People are playing your game, and that's fun. So.
Yeah, it feels awesome to show stuff at PAX. So how could we not be happy?
Yeah, that's like highlight of my year.
Mm.
And also the cookie thing. So
I did bring cookies.
I'm like directly across from our booth because my friends at Dodge Roll Games who make Enter the Gungeon were there. And we had this whole thing where you beat the demo, they give you a free shirt. And I've had the game for about 7 or 8 months now. So I can run through it really easy. And I was like, oh, so I still get a free shirt, huh? And they're like, yeah, if you think you can do it. And I was like, I know I can do it because I already have this build. And he's like, oh, shit, that's right. So I'm sitting there playing, and then all of a sudden I hear this woman's voice, and she goes, anybody want cookies? And I just go, Alex? And then I turn my head and look over. Sure enough, it's Alex.
Yep.
I somehow knew.
It's something that I did. I started it a couple years ago. The day of PAX setup, it's kind of a stressful thing. And if you don't have anything to look forward to, and you're usually like everybody's hungry and you don't get food, and it's just chaos. And so I was like, now that we've moved, because a couple years ago we moved nearby Boston, it's like, I'll bake some cookies and bring them. And I also realized the first time I did it that it is a wonderful way to meet new people. Who'd have thought giving people cookies would be a good social engagement thing?
I'm actually surprised that anybody took them because, like, they assign enforcers to different booths and everything, or like lines of booths there, and nobody accepts any help from them because it's like the indie teams like to work together instead of having like an assistant. So, like, I'm surprised anybody even took the cookies, but then again, they're cookies, and you guys seem to be very well known. I didn't realize how many people knew you guys and had fallen in love with you.
I didn't know that either. That's really
that.
Cool.
So.
It was nuts. Like, I'd be walking around doing what I was calling press runs, where, I go run and meet Giant Bomb or IGN or whatever, and I'd bring them to our booth, and they'd be like, oh, where are you going? I'd always be like, oh, I'm going to go see RobotLovesKitty for a second, because I kept on coming by your guys' booth because I couldn't help myself. You guys would bring me out of any bad mood that I was in. And between that and David being there and talking to him about music and all that other kind of stuff, it was just super exciting to be able to walk over there and no longer be in a bad mood. There's something about you guys that you guys were going through some shit. You guys were dealing with your game broke.
Oh yeah, half of our presentation of the game wasn't working. The Raygon element of Upsilon Circuit was pretty much dead the whole PAX, but it was fine. Everything else was great, so we just focused on that.
I didn't realize that you guys had taken Legend of Dungeon and put it into no shit. What's the pink eye thing?
The VR.
The Oculus Rift.
The Oculus Rift, thank you.
The pink eye thing. That's a great way to introduce people to it.
Well, that's what it is at conventions. It's a pink eye giver.
I mean, that's why we brought these sanitation wipey things. We were really good about that because we did not want people getting pink eye at our booth.
So
but yeah,
you guys did something with the Oculus Rift that I had joked about. God, I'd say about a year ago. I had joked about, man, what if RobotLovesKitty actually took Legend of Dungeon and put it into the Oculus Rift? And I think it was Trevor who I was talking to, who was originally going to join me on this today. And he said, that'd be really dumb. And I was like, no, it wouldn't, because if you think about it, it'd look like you're looking into a diorama. And he's just like, he stopped and he thought about it. He's like, okay, that's completely less dumb. So you guys did it. I was afraid to try it out because pink eye.
Because pink eye.
But what made you guys decide to do something like that?
Calvin, pretty much. Like, that's all him.
I've been a VR nerd for a very long time. I did like school. I'm being attacked by my cat.
Yeah. Whenever
I'm a little bit distracted, and I'm trying to keep Hobbs from attacking our other cat, and he's biting my feet because he's in play mode, and sometimes I play with him like this.
Basically, anytime that we're in the public view, like if we're live streaming or something, he decides that is the moment where he needs to be the biggest pain in the ass possible.
Right.
It's because you're giving something else attention.
Yeah, but if we try to give him attention, he doesn't want it. He's a cat.
He's a cat.
He's a cat.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds very cat-like to me. I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm having a little bit distracted.
The
anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I was a big VR nerd. I did like high school reports on the history of VR when I had a history report instead of doing,
actual history.
Because that's all I wanted to think about and talk about and stuff like that.
Yeah, like what was your first experience in VR actually? Was it like Disney World or something?
I don't know if it was.
Please be the virtual boy.
Oh no! Like that was terrible. That was not, wouldn't even count that as a VR experience. That's just stereoscopic vision. VR is so much more. So, I did all kinds of VR things. Anyways, the thing is that I love VR, and I have the DK1. I have the DK2. I immediately have a ton of different demos and things that I'm doing, but I was like, wonder what happens if I put this into Legend of Dungeon, and I probably won't even work. It probably won't be fast enough. First time I did it, actually, the software wasn't optimized enough for it to work. The second time when they updated the software, I'm like, I'll just try it again because I'm crazy, and it worked.
It'd be cool. That's
perfectly and almost instantly. So I was like,
we have to make this happen.
Done. I'm just going to make a full-fledged VR mode, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
So you guys ended up doing this, and did you guys feel like it would be a problem to people? Like people would think that it was a dumb gimmick, or they didn't think it would work unless it was a first-person shooter, or did you just go into it saying, fuck it, whatever, we're doing this because of us?
So
yeah, that's how we do everything.
But also, like, the entire video game industry is founded on dumb gimmicks. I mean, that's like the whole point of like video games and good video games. They're like mostly dumb gimmicks.
They started as dumb gimmicks.
No, they are. Dumb gimmicks are like the foundation. Like Legend of Dungeon is based on a dumb gimmick, which is the lighting effects.
Oh God,
that's not a dumb gimmick.
That's
cool.
a great gimmick.
God, Calvin, you just.
No, I mean that's
I know
anything that is a feature or a highlight point is a dumb gimmick to somebody.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Okay.
Even though I still stick by the fact that Legend of Dungeon is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen in my life. I've stuck to that, and I will keep on sticking to that.
Wow. Stop praising us, man. We're gonna our egos are gonna go through the roof. That'll be bad.
My egos are
jerks. Yeah, Calvin's ego's already through the roof. So.
And it should be. Good job. I think that I seriously think it's one of the best indie titles I've ever played, and I still play through it all the time. Like, it was like when I saw you guys. Well, I saw Alix. She was over giving away cookies and everything, and I was like, oh man, check this out. And I showed her that I had the whole soundtrack on my phone because
That's so cool.
I'm absolutely in love with Legend of Dungeon. I have been for, I don't know how long I've been playing it, like 8 months before you guys even released it because of that whole fiasco of the other website I was working at, which thankfully they've been shut down and blackballed by this point in time. But I've been playing it for a long time and I still love it. I still like going back to it and I like playing it with other people. There's something just fun about it. And I think that that's one of those things that people in indie games or people that even cover indie games, which I don't do anymore really, but people that cover indie games take it so seriously. And they forget that these things are supposed to be fun instead of just like this whole art house piece.
Right.
So you guys were one of those few teams, or so it seems, one of those few teams that actually say, well, fuck it, we're going to put out something that's fun. Who cares about being in some movie and them being like, their struggles are so bad. They keep on trying to make video games, but they don't work at EA, so fuck them.
Yeah.
I think that you guys are one of those few teams, and maybe that's part of the reason why you guys are so well loved, because it's never just, oh, we love Alix or we love Calvin. It's we love RobotLovesKitty. So I mean, even at the Devolver booth, I go in there and they're like, they were asking me what I was up to, and that was one of the moments where I was like, oh, I was over talking to David at the RobotLovesKitty booth, and they were like, yeah, we just need to buy them. So prepare to be bought by Devolver, apparently.
Yeah, we've been talking to them for a while.
Yeah, we keep wanting to work with them on something, but then it's just like, I don't know what happens. With Legend of Dungeon, it was mostly our fault because we're like, yeah, we're going to be done in a couple months, and then they're like, well, there's not really much we can do to help you then, you know. We're usually like big on the build up of stuff, and then it took us like a year, so we're just really bad at judging time.
I'd love to see you guys working with Devolver. I think that somebody I met in Boston pointed out to me that indie publishing studios are not a good thing, to which I sat across the table from him and I was like, what about Devolver? And he's like, okay, you're one of the Devolver fanboys. I was like, yes. He's like, all right, you're right. You're right. I was just like, I know. Like, Devolver's the only publishing studio for indies that seems like they're actually there to just help out.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those things where you see Nigel running around helping everybody out and like setting up their booths for them. It's just, it's crazy to see something like that. And I think that your guys' attitude and your mentality about things really lends itself to that Devolver mindset. So I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah, we would like to at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Eventually we'll come up with a project that we can work together on or something. It'd be fun.
All right.
I certainly don't hate them. We like them.
I have an idea for this project, okay?
Uh-oh. Okay, go ahead. Give us a pitch. We might steal it.
It takes place in Miami, right?
Okay. I'm with you.
There's this guy. He wears different masks.
Okay, Miami mask. Got it.
All right.
Okay.
He goes around trying to take down the Russian mob.
Uh-huh. I think it could work.
All right. That's all I got so far. I mean,
okay.
You could have a couple of janitors, and who knows, you guys could put yourself as the janitors, and it turns out you guys are actually running the story as is.
We'd have to think of some like really cool name though. I'm not sure what we could call it.
Well, Dungeon of Miami.
Okay, yeah, no, Dungeon of Miami.
I'm in.
That's it.
Yeah, and there's like procedurally generated dungeons that you're going through in Miami
with the mafia.
Or you guys could like have like this WarioWare type game where it moves through these different scenarios all while going to a song that you composed in your band, and it could be called Keyboard Drum Set Fucking Dungeon.
Oh, I like that.
Makes sense to me somehow. No, but I mean, you guys don't really need Devolver, which is kind of the thing that people people always think that they need somebody to help them out, and you guys have that pedigree with Legend of Dungeon. You guys have that pedigree with Tiny Plumbers, which Tiny Plumbers is fucking awesome. And your guys' new game looks pretty cool, even though I didn't get to play it and I didn't get to spend that much time really looking at it.
Wait, you were there at our booth a bunch and you never checked it out?
It was either broken or somebody was always playing it, or I was too busy talking to David.
Fair enough. Okay.
You do know what it's about, though, right?
Calvin, have I told you that you have nice eyes?
Oh, okay.
No, I have no idea. I'm sorry. I saw Ronald Reagan.
Really? So you don't have any idea?
You don't know about Upsilon Circuit?
Can we get to tell you about it?
Yes.
For the first time
Please,
here?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. I thought since you came by so many times you knew about the game.
No, I knew nothing. I'm like sitting there looking at it and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. There's Ronald Reagan.
You're gonna be really, really like blown away by
we're gonna
this.
blow your mind.
Okay,
ready?
Blow my mind.
Okay, so it's an online action RPG.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so there's the thing is there's only one server in the whole world, and there's only 8 people ever logged into it at one time.
Wait,
Hobbs, leave Star alone. Bad kitty.
how is that possible?
Right?
Well, because we control the server.
We control.
We can
there's
let
only one server. We only have that one server, and there's only 8 people that can play at a time. And then,
it's a game show.
No. Don't start there. Don't start there. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it in the wrong order.
Fine.
First, you gotta blow their minds and make them wonder what's going on.
Okay.
This is the first.
All right. Okay.
First, so stop with that. Right? One server, 8 people in the whole world.
Okay.
When one of these 8 people dies playing the game, they can never play the game again.
Ever.
Permanently dead.
Actual permadeath. Process that for a minute.
But they can never play it. Okay. All right. Go on.
Right. But the whole thing, the server's only up like 2-3 hours a day. And it broadcasts out to a live stream. So everybody's actually watching these 8 players play this action RPG.
With their one life.
And when they die, so we pick somebody from the audience to come in and have one shot at playing the game as well.
Okay, I'm thinking Running Man here.
Yes.
The audience.
Like Running Man, Hunger Games meets The Price is Right. Which
okay, all right.
And if you're an anime fan, there's a little bit of what's
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online kind of a
Yeah, I'm not an anime fan. I have no idea what that even means.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
There's certain things I just can't get into. I'm sorry.
That's fine. There was an article about Upsilon Circuit on Kotaku, and there was like this massive comment thread that was basically all about Sword Art Online.
Oh man.
That's all. That's why I was like, and I guess a big comparison.
I thought you were going to say there was an article on Kotaku and they were talking about how you've made like the most mean-spirited thing ever, and
pretty much
that to get more about it, you click on this article and it's an advertisement for Gawker.
Oh jeez. No, that's not what we're doing. You're fired.
So anyway, yeah. So we were doing something like totally new and different with this. We're trying to a thing where you're permanently dead if you die, so that 2 players could run into each other on this server, and for the first time in like video game history, not just start slashing at each other like crazy because they're actually fearing for their life.
It's the approach that this like sort of came from was actually me wasting hours and hours and hours watching people live streaming Legend of Dungeon, and we were like, we should make a game that is for watching.
Actually, and at the same time, I was actually working on this idea of real permanence and meaning in games. I was trying to figure out how to create a game where that kind of multiplayer situation could happen, where people actually care about their life.
Right, where you're not just... Because also when watching people play Legend of Dungeon, we're like, this guy has a limited amount of health. Why is he just running at this massive Cyclops? Why would you do that? If that was your only life, that is the stupidest thing you could ever do.
Oh man, I do some really stupid stuff. I do it all the time. I can't help it. It's a problem.
Yeah, but if that was your only run in Legend of Dungeon ever... you'd probably approach it differently. And we're just curious to see what will happen.
Huh.
As far as that's concerned. And because it's a game about watching, the audience itself is going to be playing a game as well. They're going to have a very kind of Hunger Games, Dungeon Master kind of existence, which would be really cool. They'll actually have their own client that they're watching the stream on, as well as interacting through.
Right. So, like, let's say if somebody's playing and you just hate their guts, you just can't stand this guy, and you wish he was dead, you could buy a monster and send it in after this guy. As an audience member.
I'm really liking this idea, like, a lot. It's kind of leaving me speechless. It's just, it's new. It's brilliant. I'm really into this right now. You have no idea.
Well, it's our crazy game idea, so hopefully it's good.
But you're gonna have to go free to play on it, aren't you? Because
yes,
free to play, free to watch,
free to play, it's like TV. And also I don't like the idea of free to play games being like this kind of scummy. Oh, if you want to enjoy the game and interact at all, you have to give us money.
Yeah, that's not our monetization model. Is that we're monetizing trolls? Yeah,
there'll be a bunch of stuff you can do for free, like earned via participation, kind of like the more active you are as an audience member, the more ability you'll have to kind of make a difference. And then on top of that, if you really want to do something big, you can kind of throw some money at it if you want to.
Right,
that
like
kind of
send
thing.
in a monster.
Send in something, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm quiet on this. I'm just like really shocked by this. This is awesome.
Did we actually blow your mind a little bit?
You really did. Warning? I'm going to be completely honest. You really did. Wow.
It's so weird that you were at PAX and you didn't know what our game was about.
I had no idea.
You may have missed your one chance to play this game.
Dun, dun.
God, that's...
Yeah, that's the other thing about this, is if the game is even remotely successful, we've got a capped player limit at 8 people, and the game's only running a couple of hours a day. So odds are like 99% of the people who are participating in this game are never going to actually play the RPG part. Like, they won't be a contestant.
Is it bad that I don't mind not being a contestant? Like,
No, that's exactly the point.
I think you guys sold me more on the other aspects of it, actually. Like, the whole being a contestant sounds really cool, but being able to sit back and watch and, like, manage a monster or send in a monster or whatever, something about that seems way cooler to me.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The audience they get the XP that the players earn.
Oh, yeah.
And the audience collectively levels up the characters in the game.
Yeah.
So what happens with the audience, though? Like, when it comes to, like, managing the monsters or bringing them in or whatever, what happens with the audience leveling up? Like, what good does that do?
Oh, it's not. Hold on. Let me explain it in really a quick way. What happens is the contestants are killing monsters and interacting in the world and earning experience points. And those experience points, instead of being something that contestants can use, they go to the audience's their client for that character. There'll be like a little tab and they'll open it up and they will collectively be adding those points into different skills on the skill tree
for that contestant.
So they're kind of the strategist as far as, this guy, he's pretty good with guns. Let's kind of, focus the gun skills for this guy.
We've left out also is that there are 2 teams.
Oh, God. There's so much to Upsilon Circuit. We almost always leave out stuff.
Right. So the thing is that, like, once it's running and once it's going, it'll be really obvious what everything is. Like, you'll turn on the stream and it'll be, I think, pretty clear to people what's going on. But trying to explain, it's like trying to, there's like that stupid thought experiment, like trying to explain what a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is to an alien who
doesn't even know what bread is.
Right. Yeah. It's very difficult, right? But once you see a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in front of you, it's pretty straightforward.
Like, oh, you can eat this.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're having difficulty trying to, like, explain what it is, but it will be really easy to get.
We're also out of practice. We had our pitch down by like the second day of PAX.
I actually completely understand what you guys are explaining to me. So I'm just like, I'm sitting here just like staring off into nothing, just thinking about this. It's awesome. I'm really excited about this. Like you have no idea how excited I am about this right now. It's awesome.
It's risky on our part. Like
God,
we're taking all of the money that we've made from Legend of Dungeon, and we might even have to borrow some or something at some point to get this going. And we are doing something nobody's ever done before in a way that people might hate. Like it's very hard to know if this will be a huge success or just kind of be like, oh, that was a thing. But either way, I feel like no matter what, we are opening a door to a type of gameplay that nobody's really explored very thoroughly yet, if at all, really. I mean, there's been games like Twitch Plays Pokemon and things like that. But in a lot of ways, it's not exploring the interactivity and the potential that this type of observational gameplay can have.
Yeah.
We don't even know what to call it, but
I mean, looking at this from like being a PR guy and a guy who like thinks a lot about marketing and everything, it is kind of scary in a way, because like PewDiePie, how is he going to have participation in this? Northern Lion and all these other guys, how would they be able to participate and really show off the game if they don't get to be contestants? So, I mean, that's a lack of that kind of showing up the game. So basically, it has to be word of mouth.
Yeah, we have some ideas for how to give people the ability to do things like as a YouTuber type things, but we don't want to do like oh look, everybody that's playing Upsilon Circuit is a streamer. And that's really, we do want it to be pretty much like a random selection of people from the audience who get to play.
We may put in a celebrity spot, or even do a like Celebrity Jeopardy. We have a Celebrity Upsilon Circuit.
Yeah, we could have like a special day that's just all the celebrities, all streamers versus each other. It'll be fun. I don't know. We've got a few ideas.
Yeah.
That's one of the interesting things, actually. Now that after PAX, so like a lot of people have been talking about the game and talking about what they like and what they don't like, and like how basically if we do it stupid, it'll be bad. And it's like, well, you just found out about this, and these are your thoughts from like the last couple of days, but we've kind of been thinking about this for like 2 years now. I think we figured out those problems. We're not gonna do it stupid. That would be silly.
It's scary as shit, but at the same time, I mean, it's so amazing. Like just the pitch that you gave me, it's amazing. I've never heard of anything like it. There's all kinds of people that have been trying to do something in that kind of vein where they vote on the monsters, or they vote on how many lives you have in the game, or whatever. And this is a whole different way of going about it. But when it comes to watching it, is this something that you only watch? No, that can't be right. So you'd only be able to launch it in Steam or whatever and watch it through there.
Well, you'll be able to go to our website.
Anything that has a web browser and can watch streaming video should be able to participate. Yep. That's the plan, at least.
Yeah, we even want to have the Watcher client on mobile phones, so that a group of people could sit around and watch it stream on a TV, and sit back on the couch and still participate.
Yeah.
See, I work a normal job, and I watch things on my phone while I'm at work because of what I do. I get to sit around on my computer or my phone at work. And that would be perfect to be able to have that on my phone, being able to watch it and being able to manage what could happen next. I think that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it should be really cool. There's still some weird technological things we kind of have to create. So some of it's a little bit tricky. Like, we can't currently, the only way you'll be able to actually play as a contestant is on PC.
Yeah.
That would be the only way you can play.
Mac, PC, and Linux.
On Mac, PC, and Linux, yeah. But PC actually means personal computer.
Yeah,
It should be Mac, Windows.
yeah, but nobody does that.
I know, it's dumb.
I don't know why.
That's a good point.
Archaic approach to things.
Nah, I wanted to play it on my Macintosh, so it's
I'm gonna play it on my Apple IIe.
I'm whipping out the Commodore 64. Everybody, stand back. I'm totally fine with that. So one of the reasons why I started up this podcast was I wanted to do something different this time around, and some of my inspirations behind it were Dennis and his story of how he got into the games industry. And you guys were another one of the big inspirations. The other inspiration, I'm not going to say who yet because they're going to be on here next. But
surprises. It's
a big surprise too. It's like a massive surprise for me even. Like I know who it is, but I'm saying like it's a very special guest to me.
That's awesome.
So as a hint to anybody who's listened before, it was my first interview I ever had, and it's one of the biggest names in indie games. So
that's awesome.
But you guys were one of those three inspirations that I had for starting this back up. That's a lot of.
I don't know, man. That's pressure for us now.
Well, getting to meet you guys and like. Seeing that you guys are a husband and wife team, you don't see that. You see like all kinds of, by the time the game's out, ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend kind of teams.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
It's true. But you guys are a married couple that makes games. Explain to me how you guys came to make games together.
We got married. Like, we've been together for years before we started making games together. I think the biggest inspiration was the fact that we actually have very different taste in games. The types of games that we both enjoy don't often happen together. They're not elements that you usually see in a game. And so, at least at that point, this is like 9 years ago. So there weren't very many easily findable indie games and all that sort of stuff. And it was kind of very much one direction or the other type things. And Calvin already knew how to program in BASIC. And
Visual Basic, right?
In VB. And he was like, let's make a game for ourselves. Let's design a game together and make it. And so we did. And then we didn't make that game. What was that called? Card something.
Oh man.
That was our first idea, was this weird card game world where like your character was actually a card. I don't even remember how it worked anymore. All I remember is like we drew out some pretend cards, and like one of them you drew was Pikachu. So like really fat Pikachu.
Right. Well, so the idea was there would be a lot of user-submitted content for that. And we pulled a lot of those ideas, went into Neverdawn.
Which was our next game.
The actual game that we actually made instead
for the most
of
part,
we were just kind of trying desperately to make.
But, 9 years ago, you quit your IT job. God, was it 9 years ago? Jeez, we're old. You quit your IT job, and I started working full-time. I was already working full-time, but I got a better job working full-time while Calvin focused 100% on making this game.
Let's be clear. What happened is that I quit my job, and Alex started a job, and I just basically stayed at home and screwed around on my computer.
You worked your ass off.
I know, but like that's what it looked like from the outside world. It's like, yeah. Do you have anything to show? No, I don't have anything to show yet for like years.
Yeah, it was supposed to take a year. This game, he quit his job for it. It's supposed to take a year, and it took 5. And at the 5-year mark, some amazing things happened. The game that we were working on, Neverdawn 8-Bit, that's what it was called. Is this massive, like, free MMO that had this cool building app. Like, you'd have a bucket full of like almost Lego brick shapes and other shapes, and you controlled all these different areas, and there's all this cool stuff happening, and like all of the rules were enforced by the players themselves. There weren't really any rules, and all of these cool elements were into it. And we got in I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this. Calvin's just like shaking his head. Sorry, Calvin.
It's okay.
Basically, we had a really cool game. It was an MMO. It had some building elements to it.
And we got in the IGF.
We got nominated for an IGF award for technical excellence because this was coded in.
No, because of a lot of reasons.
In crazy language, and it had some really cool technical elements to it.
Yeah. Which nobody understood.
But
I sent a letter to them explaining how I was doing things, and they were very impressed.
Yes. And that was really inspiring to us, considering we had been working on this for 5 years and basically had made no money. We had actually just made enough money to be able to afford to go to the IGF.
God.
So we were just scraping by. I was still working full time. And after that happened, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, we want to keep making games forever, kind of. Like, we love this. This is amazing. We might actually not be crap at this, but I wanted to start getting involved. And so we
sold our house.
Wait, you asked us one question and now we're just like going on and on.
Yeah,
but you guys are actually getting into a really interesting part of this that I know what comes next because of a previous thing. But for new listeners that are looking to be inspired to get into the games industry,
but don't.
Yeah, don't start, man. It's a dangerous road.
It's a dangerous road, and you guys hit a really weird point next where you sold your house. Go ahead and keep on explaining because this is the part I find interesting.
Okay, so, but before we even get there, though, I just want to make one thing extremely clear. You should absolutely not get into the game industry. To anybody listening, it's a terrible idea. It's really too hard, and you should not try to make video games.
I disagree with you.
No.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, go on.
This is the point. The point is that if you really actually want to get into video games, anything I say will not hinder you.
But he actually means it.
But I really mean it. Like, if anything I can say will dissuade you from doing it, don't, because it really is hard. And it really is, like, mind and soul crushing.
You put your whole heart out into things, and you will have people, no matter how good of a game you make, you'll have people crushing the things that you do. They will just be, like, giving you the worst feedback.
But it's not even that. It's just it's too difficult. I spend most of my days just staring at a screen, being frustrated. Mm-hmm. That is what video game development is. There are also incredible rewards that I reap. I mean, I do this because I have to. I have to make video games. But really, if you can help it, don't. So that's just the disclaimer.
Man, that makes me sad to hear that. Like, I totally understand where you're coming from, but like, let me do a quick rundown for you guys because the first episode back hasn't actually come out yet. The reason why I started doing these was because there was a guy who came up at the Giant Bomb panel. Like, I was really excited to be there. We had a security escort into the Giant Bomb panel, and towards the end, there's a guy who comes up at the Q&A session, and he says, "How do I get into the games industry?" And I love Giant Bomb. It's one of the big reasons why I got into the games industry. And I don't make games. I do PR for them now and some of the marketing for them now, but I love what I do. But the guy says, "How do I get into the games industry?" And Jeff Gerstmann, who I have all the respect in the world for, just looks at him and goes, "No." And the guy puts his head down and walks away and sits down. And it was really funny, but at the same time, it was extremely sad to me because I live in a part of Michigan, well, just Michigan in general. There's nothing that happens here for anybody. You name one game developer that came out of Michigan.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So there's nothing here. I've scratched and I clawed. I came from a little hick town where there were trailers and people eating their horses to actually having some kind of recognition for the interviews I've done and some of the PR work that I've done. And that shouldn't even be possible. So, like, the big reason that I wanted to have people on, and I completely agree with you where you're coming from on this, but I wanted to inspire people because of there's people that go, "No, don't get into it." And you are actually giving a complete different reason to not get into it, but totally do get into it. So I have a lot of respect for where you're going with this, Calvin. Don't worry.
All right.
Yeah, it's just basically what it is that when you first start out making video games, odds are your family's not going to support it. They're going to think you're crazy, especially if you're trying to do something indie.
Definitely.
They're going to think you're crazy, and maybe they'll support you and let you like live in their basement or something, but they're still going to look at you as if you're a failure.
And you are going to fail.
And you probably are going to fail multiple times before you find any level of success if you're lucky enough
to get
have
success,
that happen.
Like that's not even like a necessary.
When I say luck, I don't really mean just dumb luck. I don't believe in just luck. You learn enough to get lucky.
Right. It took us 5 years to get to a point where we were like, okay, maybe we can do this.
Yeah. And
5 years of failure, basically.
But yeah, 5 years of failure.
And then even some more after that.
And then more failure after that. Basically, like, I guess we'll get back into the story of what happened to us so right. Your listeners can actually kind of get an idea of where we're coming from.
And why you shouldn't get into video games. Because we sold our house and built a tree house in the forest and moved into that. Yeah. To continue making video games.
We were basically homeless for 2 years, is really what that means. We were fashionably homeless, but we were basically homeless. We had...
I disagree with that. It was the most home I've ever been in my whole life.
It was amazing. We were free. We didn't have apartment neighbors. There were weird animals instead, and we didn't have hot running water. But to like the general like societal standard of living, we were homeless pretty much. We lived in a bag in a tree.
No, we lived in a tree fort on a mountain in the forest, and we were kings.
It was.
Oh, you were a queen. Well, I was a king.
I can be a king. That's okay. I'm roll with that. But we had about $8,000 to live off of for 2 years if we didn't make any money making video games.
So yeah, what I'm trying to say is like that if the thing is not like am I making video games to make a pile of money? No, we're making video games because we can't not make video games. Yeah. And if you can't not make video games, you will get into the industry.
And you'll probably be successful.
Eventually, maybe. Yeah. But if you are like, man, looks like being an indie dev is where
easy
the cash
money.
Is at. Yeah, you should avoid
not
this
easy
like
money.
The plague.
No, we actually at this point we have reached a pretty decent level of success in our mind. We can afford to just work on games and be normal people in a normal apartment. And we actually, with Upsilon Circuit, we're even putting some of that money towards paying some other people to even help us, which is amazing to us. This is like an incredible success. But we're still working pretty much any minute that we're conscious, unless we're not feeling well, which is one of the good bonuses to like working for yourself. If you don't feel well, you don't have to work, which is nice. But it's like the only perk. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that because today I was like, oh my gosh, I feel horrible. I don't want to work. But it's Saturday. Most people get Saturdays off. Nope. We work 7 days a week.
There's no good cartoons anymore either. So I mean, you're kind of screwed on Saturdays.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
That's what Netflix is for, I guess.
That's true.
I watch cartoons any day.
Or Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. No spoilers. I'm not through.
I finished that at work. It's absolutely amazing. It's the best thing I've ever watched. Well, television show wise, it's the best thing I've ever watched. It's so good. So you guys went from a treehouse. You guys were still working on games in this treehouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We stopped working on the Never Dawn game. It never. It hasn't been released. It's in like a paused beta, basically. And I told Calvin, I don't want to work anymore. I've been working for 5 years. My soul is done. I can't do it anymore. And so I got to start helping make games as well. We lived in the treehouse for 2 years. We made Tiny Plumbers during that time.
That game was very reminiscent of another game, and I cannot put my finger on it.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. But then we started Legend of Dungeon after we were like, our weird, crazy ideas seem to be things that people don't necessarily like. Let's try something a little more normal.
That's what it didn't look like.
So we gave it a super generic name, and it is Legend of Dungeon. And we just last month released an expansion for it. So now it is Legend of Dungeon Legend Heroes, which I'm proud of. It says Legend twice.
It's a good name.
But we ran a Kickstarter for that. That was successful enough that it got us a small apartment and the drive to make the game better than we had intended to, basically.
Can I just tell you, you kind of messed up on the name, though. It should have been Legend of Dungeon Legends. That's all. I'm just blam.
Maybe we're saving that one for the sequel.
Let me drop my microphone real quick. All right. Sorry, I dropped the microphone because of the fact that, that was so good.
Yeah, that was so good.
Damn it. This is why I should be a billionaire, let me tell you.
Yeah, you got all the good ideas.
So we can't name the sequel that.
No, I know. We already have a sequel name.
Pardon me.
Legends of Dungeons.
Oh, God damn it, that's good. You're really going to make a sequel?
Oh, yeah.
We'd like to. It's definitely on our, I should say that we have like a running tab of like 5 games that we want to make at any given time. Yeah. Actually, a new one just came up. We're in New Hampshire, and there's a very, very small game developing anything here. But there is a meetup that just started last year. And at the meetup, we went out for milkshakes, and I came up with this awesome game idea that I really want to make, which is all of the players. It's like a 4-player fighting game, but all of the players are invisible.
Oh no.
This is a terrible game.
It's great. And all you can see is like the blood splatter when you hit them. So you don't know which one you are. And you have like your basic like 4 moves or something like that.
I thought this was just a joke.
No, I mean it. I really want to do it. I think it'd be hilarious.
Okay, go on. I don't know about this one. This is like that screen cheat game, it sounds like.
It's like worse than that.
It's worse than that because you don't know which one you are either.
Yeah.
It'd be 2D. It'd be fine. No, that's probably not
hilarious
actually a
game jam game.
That would be, yeah. That's a dumb game.
Hilarious game jam game. We have to do the nunchuck one.
Nunchuck?
We can't talk about that.
That's a secret.
Yeah. Oh man, why do you do this to me? I like what you guys do. Stop doing this to me. Stop teasing.
Sorry.
How dare you?
But basically, we have a lot of game ideas that we want to do. We want to resurrect Neverdaunt. We want to make a sequel to Legend of Dungeon. There was a game that we were actually starting to work on before we made Legend of Dungeon that we stopped, which is called Kamipunk, which was actually something I would really like to do because it's a...
No, we can't talk about exactly what it is.
No, but I'm not going to talk about exactly what it is, but it was going to kind of incorporate our journey together into the storyline in this really cool, unique universe. And it was going to be specifically a 2-player game for couples, kind of, almost.
Now you've given away what it is. You're not supposed to do that.
No, we talked about that before. That's not a secret.
Okay, so anyway.
But anyhow, whatever. We have lots of game ideas. Ideas are easy.
The point is that we have a lot of game ideas that we want to work on.
Just like any good developer should, though. I see that I like what you guys do. I'm a big fan, and just like hearing that you have all these different kinds of the nicest way possible of saying it is weird game ideas, which is what I like about you guys. It's like how strange your ideas are sometimes. Mm-hmm. I get super excited about this because like I'm really excited about this next game that you guys put out, and I really hope that it brings you guys plenty of money and allows you guys to do what you want to do next. Like that excites me, especially like how much I love Legend of Dungeon. It's a phenomenal game, and I've bought it like 5 times for different friends because it was one of those things where I had that copy that was given to me, and then I figured out that it was actually given to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people way early, and there was something really sickening about that to me. So I felt really bad, and I bought quite a few extra copies and was like, "Here you go, everybody, play these because it's awesome."
It was fine though, the whole weird leak thing with the early build, because it was an early build. Yeah,
it was an early build, but
it's fine.
It's just it's such a shitty thing that they did that, and it bothers me. I mean, it led to me quitting there and going back to not getting paid for doing things in video games.
Calvin's looking at me like we're talking about some foreign thing. Calvin, you remember this?
No, Calvin wasn't on there.
No, but like I told him about it.
Oh,
I don't know what this is about.
So I was working at this website, and they decided, since they got an early preview copy of Legend of Dungeon, they were going to put it into a Dropbox that they actually shared with a lot of their readers. And they were giving away your guys' game way early. And people were like, "Oh, well, now that I've got the game, I'm not going to play or buy it or whatever, you know?" So it really bothered me, and I was like, "Yo, I quit, and also I'm going to let them know what happened and let everybody else know on an interview, so see ya." So I did. Mm-hmm. And I got quite a few messages about it, and next thing I knew, that website went away, and none of those people that worked at that website can get jobs anywhere anymore. So congratulations for being D-bags, I guess.
Oh gosh. Yeah. It happens.
It's just disgusting though. Like, when you figure out how good of people game creators are, for the most part, I mean, there's a couple that are absolutely horrendous people, which is rare, I've come to figure out.
It's hard to survive in this industry if you're not a nice person, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know quite why that is, but
it's because I know exactly why that is.
If you're not together with everybody, you're kind of on your own.
No, it's because obscurity is death in this industry. So our worst enemy is nobody ever hearing about who we are. And the best way, there's two ways to let people hear who you are. One way is to be a total asshole to everybody. Mm-hmm. And then everybody hears who we are in a negative way, and that's really not great.
But it's still PR.
Yeah, but then the other way is to hand out cookies. And
or band together. That's a big thing to me. I'm very much in the whole, a bunch of sticks together does not break type mentality, and I'm always trying to get indie devs connected with each other because I think it's an important part of what we do, and it's often you're isolated too in what you're doing. So having other people you can talk to is really good. Yeah. I mean, it's not a great resource too.
Well, you guys were also doing a live streamed indie show at one point in time.
Yeah, I want to do that again. I can't believe it's been over a year since I did the last one. I wanted to do them like every 6 months or something like that. Just basically the idea was find a bunch of cool games, invite the devs to come and have a huge live stream for like hours on end, playing their games and talking to them about the process and whatever. Just hanging out with the devs while we played their games.
See, I never got to see this.
Enjoy. There's actually, I think there's a Indie Dev Super Show YouTube channel that has recordings of the last one we did.
And then there's another
and then there's some on the
channel too.
Yeah, which is still on your personal account, which is like Aeon Skull or something like that.
Yeah, from long time ago.
Forever ago.
Is it bad that I never exactly knew what your show was about, and I'm secretly, accidentally going to try to rip it off here soon?
Oh, cool.
I've been working on setting something like this up, and I didn't know that's exactly what you guys were doing, and I apologize in advance, I guess.
Oh, that's fine. There's already a couple other.
Maybe we can. I'm happy to collaborate with you too if you want to like go back and forth on some stuff.
I would love to. I mean, if I'm going to work with some developers, why not work with developers that I love? It makes sense to me. Like I have this idea, and I have a friend who she works in PR as well. Like so far as it seems, and I apologize for any PR people listening, but it could be true on your part too. But who knows? There's a lot of PR people that just don't give a fuck, and they're in it just for the money.
Oh, that's sad.
And she's like one of the other PR people like me that don't care about the money and they just want to help out. So like she's working on something that's kind of like that for a charity thing, and I've been collaborating with her a little bit on it. So
Oh yes. I met her at South by Southwest. I actually gave her a whole pile of Legend of Dungeon keys.
I know.
Just a tiny bit ago.
She told me she was excited.
It's awesome.
She absolutely loves you guys. She's like, Alix is so pretty and she's so nice. Blah blah blah. And I was like, my God.
What is wrong with all you people? We're just people. Stop thinking we're awesome. I feel like everybody's like this. So many indie devs that I know are just as generous and kind, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe
just saying nice things about us.
He's just saying nice things about us. Yeah. Yeah, you're just saying nice things about us.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's turn it around on you guys. You guys are horrible people. I don't like what you do. You make bad games. I'm starting to feel really bad about even lying about this. Jesus. No, you guys are well loved, and as I said, it's not just me. It was Dennis, and especially Evan Greenwood. My God, Evan Greenwood from Free Lives, the Broforce guys.
Oh,
if I could do his voice right now, I would totally do it. But put it in his accent real quick, and he said, "They are the loveliest couple of people I've ever met in my life."
Oh, stop talking to us. Can't do this. Don't know how to respond.
It's just funny to me, and I think that's a good thing to have for you guys. Like, you guys make an impact on people's lives, whether it be through your video games or whether it be through the relationships you guys have built with people. And I think that's something really special, and that actually helps you guys as a team, like being able to have that kind of reputation. People hate Phil Fish. I personally love Phil Fish. I've talked to him multiple times, and he's a super nice guy. He's actually one of the nicer people I've ever met. And people think that he's the worst, and just because of that, they'll buy his game and then talk about how bad it is. And I think that's hilarious because, Fez is brilliant. It's absolutely great.
This is a good game, definitely. A lot of thought went into it. Some of the puzzles are really cool.
No, too much thought went into it.
So the head programmer on Fez, Renard, he's what kind of encouraged me to keep going. He's the guy that was like, no, you have to submit to the IGF.
Yeah, the programmer for Fez.
You
met him on like a IRC channel?
No. We both were programming it for
Visual.
No, hold on. It's gone. True Vision was a engine that worked across platform stuff. So we were both working on that, and then and then I met him through there and was.
And he was encouraging.
Yeah, he was extremely encouraging. Anyways, so it's like the industry always is encouraging other people starting in.
One of the very challenging things that I will say, like as far as like encouraging people to be indie devs or to jump into the industry, one of the nice things I imagine, I've never actually experienced this because we're both self-taught. We've never really been in a like we never worked for EA or something. One of the nice things about working for a company is that you are not out there 100%. Like your personality isn't going to affect the games that you're working on. And if you are not prepared to be out in the public eye as a developer, being an indie dev is going to be challenging for you because that's a lot of what making and selling your game is being out there. You are the one writing your press releases and tweeting about things and responding to bug reports, and who you are, it's going to matter because people care about that kind of stuff. Obviously, with like the people playing Fez and saying it sucked because they don't like Phil Fish, that is something that happens. It's a human thing.
Even if you don't like Phil, he's so fucking super nice. That dude is... But he's Canadian, so it doesn't count. But other than that, he's a super nice guy. He was like one of the first developer programmer guys I ever interacted with, actually, and he was just super good to me. And I was like, so do you want to talk sometime? And I apologize, I'm nobody. I've done nothing. So he still, like, you know, took the time to speak to me and actually help me out with a lot of different things, which has been like one of the coolest aspects of what I'm doing now. And like with PAX East and going to that and actually getting to meet up with so many people that I hold to such high regard, or people I call friends I haven't even gotten to meet in person. And getting to meet them there was like super special to me. Like I almost cried when I met you guys. I was just like, oh my god, I love them. I did cry a couple of times. I cried when I met Justin Amercani from Always Sometimes Monsters, because there was a point in time where I was going through a lot of really rough shit and was getting to a point of like being suicidal, and he helped me through that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that dude like came up and hugged me and covered my head with his beard because I didn't realize he'd be taller than me even.
That's amazing.
So I just sat there crying when I got to meet him, and almost cried when I met Dennis, who's like been one of the coolest people to me and somebody I look up to, and he made my favorite franchise of all time. So, and he's been super good to me. And in fact, like, since I forgot to do it in the beginning of the show, and I apologize right now, Dennis, the music in the beginning of the show is from Dennis's band, fucking Werewolf Asso, which you guys didn't hear. Just pretend you heard it, okay?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was the best music that I have heard with my ears.
So thank you to him and fucking Werewolf for that. But I don't know. I find you guys to be possibly one of the most inspirational indie teams out there, or anybody in the industry altogether. What you guys do is really cool, and your guys' backstory of what you guys have gone through just to keep on continuing with making different interesting games. That's something special, and that's one of the things that I was like, well, I'm going to have Dennis on first. I need to have RobotLovesKitty next. And through me accidentally sleeping through appointments or getting called into work for appointments with you guys or whatever, you guys still came and did this with me. And that's something that's super awesome to me.
Well, thank you for wanting us to be a part of this.
You guys were one of the top choices that I had. I was like, I have to have them. I have to. And now I own your souls because you guys chose to do this.
Oh,
I didn't know that was part of the deal.
Well,
yeah, that's all right.
Soul?
You didn't read the fine print.
Sure. No.
But
That's all right.
I'm going to get ready to wrap this thing up. So go ahead and tell everybody where they can find your websites and your Twitters and everything.
You should go to RobotLovesKitty.com. And that is where there are links to everything, including our Twitters and YouTubes and other games.
Some game jam games that we have for free where you can slap each other.
Yeah, there's slapping games that you should go and play that are free.
Yeah.
Is that Ant game on there?
Oh, God, no. That was horrible.
I hate the Ant game.
We don't give away free crappy games.
Okay, so if you go to the slapping game, it'll take you to the Ludum Dare page, which will link you can get to the Ant game.
Oh, that needs to be burnt.
I watched you guys working on that constantly. Like, I watched you guys streaming that the whole time almost.
Actually, as we speak right now, a Ludum Dare jam is happening, I think. We're missing it because we don't have time, but
I forgot what the theme was, though.
I didn't check because I was going to be sad.
It's going to be awesome, and then we won't get to do it. And
it was actually, the theme is robots and kitties.
No. You're mean. That would be so annoying.
Could you imagine?
I would break down in tears.
Yep.
I would break down in tears for you.
Oh.
Like, what? That's so
go
perfect.
and do the jam anyway, I guess.
Do the jam.
Yeah, we would just...
You have to.
We'd have to. We'd be obligated.
So definitely go to RobotLovesKitty.com. Check that out.
That is the place to go for our stuff.
And buy 75 copies of Legend of Dungeon. Go play Tiny Plumbers, everybody. That game is fun.
And be on the lookout for our other new project that's called The Game Kit.
That's right. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah. That's like a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole
If you guys want, go ahead. It's up to you.
Really quick. It's on our dev blog, which is something you could check out. from our page, but Calvin is working with his brother to make an actual physical game console-y thing that is handheld.
It's Raspberry Pi powered.
Okay, I'm definitely going to go read about this.
Yeah, it sounds pretty rad, and they're designing, like, Calvin's brother is designing from scratch this really cool retro style. It looks very much like a Game Boy, but better. That'll, like, custom encase these pieces.
Okay, that's enough. But
that's it. Yeah, it's super cool.
It's a thing.
Cool if you like things.
I get to buy this thing?
Yeah,
we're gonna do
maybe even like as a kit if you wanted to put stuff together.
Yeah, it's probably just gonna be a kit for
mostly.
But yeah, anyway.
I like this idea, and everybody. So everybody that has VR headsets, you know, the pink eye box, they can get Legend of Dungeon, right?
Yes. Legend of Dungeon is VR. Yes.
Yeah.
Go do that, people, because already just from looking at the screen, it looks like you're looking into a diorama, and there's just awesome shit happening inside of it.
Pretty much.
I want to play it with the VR headset so bad, and now I feel like I actually have to buy one.
Don't buy one yet. Wait. Wait for the commercial version.
Yeah, either the Oculus consumer version or the Vive, because I'll make it work with that too.
The Vive will be way expensive.
But you guys don't understand.
Have input.
I want to play this really bad. I wanted to play it at PAX, but I'm just so afraid of pink eye. I saw some kid.
It doesn't kill you, you know.
No, but I don't want pink eye. That shit sucks. It's so itchy and it's your eyeball. Like, after a while, it starts making that sloshing noise and it starts to close up. It's just really gross. Like Sheena and I were standing around at the Cards Against Humanity booth because we were talking to Max, and there was a kid that walks over, and his eyes are just fucking puffy and red, and I was like, "Oh, did you just come from the Oculus booth?" And he's like, "Yeah, how could you tell?" And I was like, "You have pink eye, sir." And he's just like, "I don't have pink eye." So he starts scratching his eye, and I was like, "Dude, you have pink eye."
Oh, so it doesn't happen that quickly, though, does it? He probably gave somebody else pink eye.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, there's...
I'm glad we use our sanitizing wipes every time. I bought 7,000 of them, and I'm like, use these liberally.
It's so scary. I don't know. I don't want pink eye. I've had pink eye before. I don't want it ever again.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But anyways, go check out everything over at RobotLovesKitty.com. Check out click on everything, everybody. And buy yourself a treehouse and make games in a treehouse. And as for my plugs, I'm at Eric Lee Lewis on Twitter. You can find me at spiderduck.net. I don't know where you got this podcast from, but thank you for downloading it. And also go check out fucking Werewolf Asso. You can find them at I think it's oh no, I forgot the website. Just go find it. There's
Google it
on Bandcamp and SoundCloud, and go check that out. And thank you guys for coming back. I really do appreciate it. You guys are two of my favorite people that I've ever had on for interviews. So thank you.
Well, thanks for all of the compliments. It's basically been us sitting here getting complimented. So it's our pleasure.
We're talking about our games, which is what we want to do anyway.
Exactly. I'm giving you guys the opportunity to talk about your games, and I absolutely love having you guys. And anyways, to close this thing out, I guess I do the old thing of saying ole or something. So, ole.
Ole.